All right, check it out. Life after the abuse. So when I left Joseph, y'all, and this was before like I was officially done with this man. When I left Joseph, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and attack life by myself. You know what I'm saying? I had been put through foster care. I had went through the little foster care process, the group homes. I got adopted. I lived the adoption lifestyle, and I got myself out of foster care and went back to my mom. So after being in that abusive relationship, I thought that I wanted to attack life on my own. So before I officially left Joseph, y'all, I decided that I was going to get on Craigslist. I was going to get on Craigslist and try to find me like a job, try to find me like maybe like a roommate situation where I could work and pay my half of the rent and not have to worry about anything, right? So my first ad that I run across, y'all, pay attention to my life, because pay attention to what I'm saying, because y'all will probably wonder like, oh my God, what the heck? Y'all double tap the screen for me. So the first ad I came across was this guy saying that he needed a personal assistant, okay? Disregard my colors, I know y'all see him. This guy saying that he needed a personal assistant. So I responded to the ad and I was just like, hi, my name is Sherelle. I think I was like 19 at the time. I'm 19. I saw your ad for the personal assistant. I'd be willing to apply. So the guy responded fairly fast and was like, okay, you know, you can come here. We can do the interview. We can figure it out. So when he said that he needed a personal assistant, he said the personal assistant will also have a place to stay. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I was 19 and I'm literally just now trying to attack the world on my own by myself. I've never told this story to nobody, so y'all are the first people to hear it. So I told Joseph, I was like, hey, I found a job. This guy needs a personal assistant. Can you take me? He was like, yeah, I'll take you. I told him I'll figure out my way on getting back. So when he dropped me off to this brick home. The house was a nice house and everything, and I went in, and the guy wasn't really like old, but he looked like he could have been 30, 28, 29, 30 or whatever. Y'all double tap the screen. So when I got in, he told me to follow him to the studio. So this is really what solidified the age for me. I give him 33 max. He said he was in the studio, he was a rapper, he was doing this, he was doing that. But what I noticed first when I walked in was that there was several people laying in the living room. There were several people laying in the living room on blankets on the floor. And so I'm thinking, hey, Lily, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, maybe it's just like his friends or whatever that's just over and they all crashing. Maybe they just had a party, you know, you got a studio. So when I go in, he was just like, so this is what I do. You know, I do the studio. People come over, they'll make songs, blah, 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 blah. And so he proceeded to run down my job to him or whatever. He was like, and also for the place of living, you would just like crash in here and you would sleep on the couch that's in the studio. So being young, I was thinking like, okay, I'll be getting paid to be a personal assistant and I can sleep on the couch in the studio. So like I have somewhere to sleep. Of course, I was thinking about my daughter. Like, okay, so my daughter will be here. I would have to thug it out. You know, it's kind of like a trial and error situation. So he was like, well, you can test it out for the first night. We can see how it goes. So I'm like, test out what? You know, like personal assistant, like what do I need to do? You know, mind y'all, keep in mind, y'all, this is me. This is me, my very, 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 very first time jumping out. My very first time jumping out into the adult world, trying to figure out what I need to do for my life. So I'm sitting there, he proceeds to say like, can you give me some water? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I was just like, okay, you know, I would go get the water. I would go get his food, or if he needed some papers put through the printer, if he needed something swept or clean, like that's what personal assistant does, or at least that's what he told me. So I ended up shooting Joseph a text, and I was like, well, I'm gonna just crash here, and then I'll call you tomorrow so that you can bring me Jaylee. So I crashed for the first night, y'all, in the studio. Like I crashed in the studio on the couch. The next morning, I woke up. I just woke up out of nowhere. I didn't see the dude, so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to just go back to sleep because I was already tired. So I went back to sleep, and I was awakened again by him opening the door. When he opened the door, he was like, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay. And so I was like, well, before you tell me what you need to tell me, I just, like, can I say something? And he was like, sure, go ahead. I was like, well, I have a daughter, you know. I have a daughter, and I was just trying to figure out, you know, like, can she come and stay with me? Like, I know this is a job that I'll be doing for you, but can she come and stay? And he was just like, oh, yeah, you know, he have no problem with it. So I was like, cool. I was excited. Y'all double tap the screen. I was excited. Like, my daughter gets to come with me. Like, this is the first step to independency, right? So he proceeds to talk, and he was just like, well, let me just give you the more in detail description of this job. So I'm like, personal assistant, this shouldn't be too much deeper, right? He proceeds to say that there will be times where I'll need foot massages. There will be times where I'll need back massages and sexual favors. Like, he was like, sexual favors. Now that kind of threw me for a loop, because I'm like, sexual favors? What is that? What are you saying? So when he said that, he was just like, well, we'll get more into detail about that as time comes. But I'm thinking like, that's just something he's saying, you know, whoop over my head or whatever, to see if he can scare me away. I'm 19, y'all. I'm 19. It's my first time stepping into independency. So the day rolled by, I was doing the same thing. I was cleaning. I was bringing him water and stuff, food, whatever. Whenever he would order like food, I would go get it from the people outside, bring it to him. So I was doing personal assistant things. So the next night rolled around, me and my daughter, because I had Joseph. I called him and I had Joseph bring me Jaylee. The next night rolled around and we was asleep. Like, we had fell asleep in the studio. So it was late and Jaylee was already knocked out. So he came and he tapped me and I woke up and I was like, yes. And he was like, come here. And I was like, okay. So I got up, you know, made sure Jaylee was cool, and I walked over and he was just like, you know, I need to release some stress. I need to do this and I need to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you want a foot massage? Like, what's going on? And he was just like, nah. And he told me like he was literally trying to do sexual activities. And from then, that's when I knew. I was like, this ain't what it is. This ain't what it is. Like, I wasn't trying to come and be a personal assistant / prostitute for you, y'all. Y'all literally, my second book, y'all, when I tell you my second book is going to bring tears to so many people's eyes, because y'all are going to wonder, like, why didn't I have anybody? Why didn't I have someone to say, like, listen, I understand you done did this. I understand you done been through that. I understand this is what you had to deal with, but you ain't got to do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have nobody saying like, oh my God, go do this. Or, oh my God, go apply here. Like, you know, of course it's common sense to go and apply for different jobs and all of that. But I never had nobody. When is the second book coming? I'm projecting it to be here in 7 days. 7 days. If y'all haven't got y'all first book, the first book is on sale for $9. The first ebook, the hard book, is still $20. If you want the e-copy, use code TikTok. You can get it for $9 instead of $15. Hey, Jakendra. So after I realized, like, I wasn't trying to be a prostitute for you, dude. Like, hey. Yeah, so anybody that was ordering books, I don't know if y'all saw it on the website where it said it was back ordered, because I had already sold out of my first book. And my publisher, like, she publishes 1 million people's books, literally. If y'all know Mr. Okay So Boom and how he be ordering thousands and thousands of books, like, I'm on the list. So I'm only a few days away from getting my book. But I promise you, like, everybody that's ordered books, they are coming. They're just back ordered. So I had already knew. I was like, I'm not trying to be, like, I don't want to prostitute and work my, like, that's not what I signed out. Nails check, let me see, just some simple and white. So I had told him, I was just like, yeah, I'm not comfortable doing that. And he was like, oh, okay, well, you can get out of the, like, you gonna have to get out of the studio. So basically, all those people, those females and stuff that was sleeping in the living rooms on the floor, obviously had tried out for this position and they didn't want it. So I was just like, so that means I have to leave. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that should have been like the first thing, but I'm like, I had already told Joseph this is what I was doing. So calling him back, like, what is that going to prove? So he was just like, no, you can stay. Like, you can stay here. You can sleep in the living room on the couch, you and your daughter. You just got to pay me $25 a night to be here. And so I was like, hey, I ain't even got no money. So how am I supposed to do that? So I ended up calling Jaylee's daddy back. And I was like, it ain't work out. You know, can you come and get us? Like, and I pretty much just ran down. Like, I ran down a basic brim of what was going on. Hey, Kaden. So he came and got us. We ended up getting another night in the hotel or whatever, right? We wasn't even completely broken up, but I had already knew. I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm leaving him. I don't want to do this. And so I got back to the hotel and I got on Joseph's computer and I went to look for like babysitting jobs. Like I didn't want to do personal assistant, none of that, no more. I went to do babysitting jobs. Hey friend, you called me earlier, Marshall in the house. Hey, I knew I didn't want to do personal assistant, none of that anymore. So I went the babysitting route. So I saw this lady by the name of Victoria. She had an ad stating that she would offer a place to live. She would offer a place to live in exchange for babysitting services plus like $50 on top. What's the story time? I'm a huge fan. Can you say, hey Dior? This is the rest of the story that I got going on my page because I'm about to start a new one. So when I wrote Victoria, I was like, hey, my name is Sherelle. I'm interested in the babysitting services. You said that you would pay a little bit of money on top of babysitting, and plus me and my daughter need somewhere to stay. So it was a couple days or whatever went by. She wrote back and she was like, hey, can you come and meet me, blase, blase, woom, woom, off of Clydesdale Road. If y'all from Dallas, Texas, and y'all know anywhere about the area, then y'all know Clydesdale is right off of Northwest Highway. So I ended up going to meet her on Clydesdale Road. We had an interview or whatever, and she was just like, oh, I feel like you'll be a perfect fit. Like, you can watch my kids, you have your kid, and then plus you'll have somewhere to stay. So I was content. I was content with it, and me and Jaylee moved in. So we moved in, and I want to say about the first, month or so, month and a half and everything. Like the kids, it was real rocky getting those kids to just listen to you, to just, you know, as a new babysitter coming to the house, like they gonna listen to their mama, and then other than that, you in their house. So I was just there, I was chit-chatting, I was doing what I was doing, and after some time, I was able actually to grow. I was able to grow my clientele. I was able to find other people who needed babysitters. So I had accumulated a bunch of kids. I had a bunch of kids in the house, but their parents was paying me like $45, $50 a day. And then the people who came with multiple kids, like you would have to pay like $30 for each child, so like $60 a day, $70 a day. So I was accumulating. So Victoria hit me one day and she was just like, well, we're about to move. And that literally, like, it struck a nerve in me, like, y'all about to move. Like, what does that do for us? She was like, no, you can come with us. I'm just saying we're about to move. So we ended up moving to these apartment complexes right around the corner from Bachman Lake. Any of y'all from Dallas, then y'all know Bachman Lake, right off of Northwest Highway. So we moved to these apartments right off Bachman Lake and everything. Me, my daughter, and the kids was there. I was sleeping on the floor in the living room. My daughter, the kids was in their room. Victoria was on the couch. And so with me still having my babysitting services going on, people was bringing their kids and everything, I had accumulated enough money to be able to try to put a down payment on the car. Y'all double tap the screen for me. So the first time I got back on Craigslist, y'all, I was doing everything off Craigslist. Like when I literally get to talking about all my stories, y'all will see like this girl went to Craigslist for everything. So I got back on Craigslist and I was looking for cars for sale, and I saw somebody post the ad saying, you can take over the payments on this car. All you have to do is bring me the first payment so I can go ahead and pay the bank, and you go from there. If you miss a payment, then they'll come and repossess the car. So I emailed him, and it was a guy, but the guy was a little slow. Like he was a little slow in the head, but he knew how to drive, so his mom was handling like all the paperwork and things of that nature. So I hit him up, and the lady was like, oh yeah, if you're interested, just come test drive the car, bring your ID, the money for the first car note, and you can get it. So I didn't have a car, and I wasn't going to call Joseph because at this point, you know, I had been established with Victoria, and I really only called them whenever Jaylee needed anything. So I had hit up one of my kids, my little baby citties. I hit up their father and was like, if you could take me to this place to pick up a vehicle, which was like 40 minutes away or whatever, then I won't charge you for the day for watching the kids. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. So when he got there, he got the kids. I jumped in the car with them, and I asked him, I was like, can you do me a favor and take me by my grandmother's so I can drop Jaylee off? I didn't want to have Jaylee just like running all around the world and she didn't have no car seat. Once I went and picked her back up, we were going straight back to Victoria's. So he was like, yeah, that was cool. So did you end living with my abuser story time? No. This is what I'm doing now. This is, living with my abuser. I had already did that. But this is life after the abuse. So y'all double tap the screen for me. If you can, share the live. If you're new in here, do me a favor and hit the follow button. For those of y'all who don't know, this story here that I am telling, life after the abuse, the part that I am telling now will be in my second book. If you haven't gotten the first book, you might want to get it. The ebook is $9 if you use the code TikTok. My second book will be out, I'm predicting, in a week. So I had asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'll take you. And he took me by my grandmother's. Hey, Miss Kimberly. He took me by my grandmother's, which stayed off of Ridgecrest Road and Park Lane. A lot of these streets, if y'all from Dallas, then y'all gonna know. My grandmother stayed off Ridgecrest Lane. So I went over there, dropped Jaylee off, and then the dude ended up taking me to go get the car. So when I went up there, I got the car. I met with the people. They had a little contract drawn up saying, like, you'll pay such and such this month, every month. If you don't, then we'll repossess the car. I was cool with it. Like, with the way that they was paying me with babysitting, paying for the car, especially when I didn't have rent, when I didn't have all this extra stuff. And then the little money that Victoria was giving me, I was able to buy diapers for Jaylee. I was able to make sure she had milk. This was before I found out about WIC. This was before I found out about any of that other stuff, right? Hey, so I got the car and I was on my way back. You know, I was on my way back. So, y'all, my life took a drastic turn, y'all. It took a drastic turn. So after I got the car, I'm cruising. It's still a little daylight outside, so I don't need no light, none of that. I'm cruising. I'm excited. Like, this is a new accomplishment. Like, it's only up from here. It's only up. If any of y'all have been paying attention, then y'all heard me say that I had a best friend that lived in Baton Rouge. If y'all heard my story time on YouTube, then y'all know I went to jail in East Baton Rouge. But before I went to jail, I had signed an affidavit saying that I did such and such, this, that, and the third. And that's how I actually ended up going to jail. This story time here that's in my second book breaks all of that down. So, on my way back, y'all, I pull up to my grandmother's house and I call. I was like, hey, bring Jaylee to the patio so she can see something. My granny was like, huh? I was like, just come out on the patio. When I came out on the patio, my granny was like, what am I looking for? And I was like, is the second book I came in late? The second book isn't out yet. I'm telling stories from my second book. So I was like, Granny, just bring her to the patio. And my granny's like, what am I looking for? And I honked the horn when they came out there. And my granny was like, is that you? And I was like, yes, ma'am, this me. She was like, you got a car? I was like, yes, ma'am. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so proud. Like, she was proud of me. She was doing, because she had known what I had been through. Hey, Nevaeh. She had known what I had been through. She had, like, she knew what I was withstanding, being homeless, bouncing around from hotel to hotel, sleeping in the car, all of that, right? So, she told me I had to park my car across the street because I didn't have no registration, no little thing to put in my car to show that I was a visitor at her apartment complex. I miss you too, baby. So, I ended up parking my car across the street. I ran across and I ran upstairs to the house. And my granny, like, I don't know if she was planning this stuff from 2 years ago, but she had a whole rundown of the places that she wanted me to take her. So I was like, okay, Granny. But low-key, even though I didn't show it, low-key I was excited to be able to say, like, I can do something for somebody else. And I think that's what really instilled that into me. Like, I always want to be the person to do this, 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 do this. Hey, Chelsea, do this for everybody. But I never want nobody to do nothing for me. And I think that's the downside to my life. So, afterwards, I was like, okay, Granny, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go home. I gotta get some rest because I'll be dealing with the kids tomorrow. Are you gonna be able to get me soon? Yes, baby. I was supposed to call and I forgot. I'm going to call you after this live. Y'all do me a favor and double tap the screen. I'm going to call you after this live. So, when I got down to my car, hey, Sandra. When I got down to my car, I put Jaylee in the back seat. I didn't have no car seat for her. None of that. I was just going to ask her dad to give me her car seat so whenever we, like, intertwine with her or whatever, he take the car seat and I take the car seat. Because I didn't have any extra money just to be doing this, y'all. I'm brand new into this adult life and I'm trying my hardest. I love you too, baby. I'm trying my hardest to maintain and withstand without falling on my face. So I put Jaylee in the back seat of the car and I buckle her in. I buckle her into the seat. I jump in and I'm excited. I'm like, Jaylee, you like mommy's car? And Jaylee was like, you know, being the kid that she is, not really just knowing how to talk. She was a little bit over one. So I'm excited, y'all. I leave out of Ridgecrest. Leave out of the little apartment thing I had to park. I make a right on Ridgecrest and I go down to Shady Brook Lane. Shady Brook, I make a left. And I'm sitting right here at the light. I'm sitting right here at the light of Northwest Highway. Once I make a right onto Northwest Highway, I'm able to take 75 and go all the way back out to Community Boulevard with my daughter's 7. Is this the Chrysler 200 you were talking about? Yes! Somebody's been paying attention. I'm a Pisces. So, y'all double tap the screen. If y'all can, share the live for me, please. If y'all can, share the live. So, I didn't even, y'all, I was so excited. I was just, I was really just wallowing in a new accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? And it's very rare. It was very rare, even with the little things that I was doing growing up in life, that people would be like, oh, I'm proud of you, or oh, I'm this, or oh, I'm that. So I was wallowing in the fact that, oh my God, like I did it. You know what I'm saying? I have an accomplishment. I can look at my daughter with a smile on my face and be like, I did this, you know? So the whole time, y'all, I'm driving. We had a red light. There's like, I want to say about 3. It could have been 2. But there was a few cars in front of me, and I was waiting my turn to make the right turn. So when I got up to the light, I'm ready to make a right turn to go ahead and go down and jump on the interstate. Them laws hot over there. Man, it's horrible. It's horrible. You've been trying to get a hold of me? Oh, my bad. Hold on. You're doing a good job, Belinda. Thank you. I followed you. Get to the story, sheesh. Sorry. This is a story. So, I make the right turn, y'all. I make the right turn onto Northwest Highway. And I don't know what it was, but something deep in my gut was saying, look out of your rear view mirror. And I'm like, I'm still cruising, minding my business, because you know the rear view mirror. But then I was like, let me just look over here in my driver rear view mirror and see what's going on. So I look over, y'all, and I see nothing but blue lights. My ebook is $9. If y'all want the first book before the second book come out, if you go and click the link in my bio, if you use the code TikTok, you can get my ebook for $9. You can get it for $9. Everybody that purchases the book for $9 will get an email so that you can get my second book for $10 and not have to pay $20. Make sure you put the correct email. Because if you mess up on your email, then you won't get the email about the $10 new release. So I look out the right side of my mirror, y'all. I kid y'all not, and it haunts me to this day. I see nothing but blue lights. Like, you know when the police pull you over, it's supposed to be like red, white, and blues. It was nothing but blues, just straight. Blue lights. And so I'm like, what the heck? My heart get the beating. My heart get the beating fast. So the first thing I see is an old abandoned U-Haul spot. I pull over into the street next to it. When I pull over into the street, I put my car in park and I sit there. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, I knew I signed the affidavit for Baton Rouge, but that also meant that I was just telling them, like, y'all got the wrong person, but you can't do double jeopardy because you already charged one person. You can't charge me. Then also I knew I had tickets from Longview for driving my baby daddy's car. I knew I had got a ticket in Dallas, but I'm like, bro, I can't go to jail. So when the dude finally got out the car, the guy got out the car, he came and tapped on my window. And I looked up and he was like, so I rolled it down and he was just like, license and registration. And I'm like, okay. And so my first instinct, instead of grabbing my, like, because I ain't have no registration, none of that. But instead of like saying like, oh, okay, let me see what I can grab, I was like, I don't have anything on me, sir. I don't have nothing on me. Like, I understand you. And so he was like, you don't have nothing on you? I was like, no, sir, I had just bought this car. I literally just got back with it like, shit, maybe an hour ago. And he was just like, okay, that's cool. If there's anything wrong or whatever, if there's nothing wrong, I'll give you a warning. You can go ahead and go about your business. Y'all, the first thing I realized when that man said that was my headlights were not on. I was like, bro, how can I make the dumb mistake? Don't get me wrong, when I was on my way back to my grandmother, because y'all know that 5 o'clock traffic, the 6 o'clock traffic in Dallas is horrible. When I was on my way back to my grandmother's to get my daughter, it was pretty daylight. There was no need for lights. On my way out, Dallas is so lit up, especially over there off Northwest Highway in Shady Brook. All those stores and stuff, you don't need lights. So my eyesight's so good, I'm just driving. And I did not even know that the police had been following me for a minute. Like, I'm just cruising, because you know, from Shady Brook Lane up to 75, you got a little bit of piece to go. So I'm just cruising, minding my business. Y'all do me a favor and double tap the screen. So then he proceeds to say, can I get your name? And I told him I was like, Sherelle. Hey, Miss Tillery, how you doing, baby? I told him it was Sherelle. He said, can you spell that? In my mind, the first thing I said was lie. So I was like, Sherrelle. I added extra R and an extra E to my name. And so he was like, all right, and what's your last name? And I told him Hodge. Like, you can't really just butcher Hodge. he said, okay, so what's your social? And so I'm thinking in my head, like, y'all ask for social, y'all ask for date of birth. But anyways, I gave him my complete social and I changed the last number. And so he was like, you sit tight and I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna run it. So when he went back there, he was back there for like 2 minutes and he came back up. He was like, I'm not pulling up anything with that. And I was like, you know, clearly scared because at this point I done lied to the law. So I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. But maybe he'll just be like, no. OMG, Sherelle, I went to school with you and Bradley. You did? Oh, you did. I recognize your pic. Wait, you didn't go to school with me. You went to school with Amber. You from Vivian? I think I know you. Your brother and them name is Jarvis and what's the other one? Yeah, Jarvis and the other one. I used to have a crush on Jarvis, but it was being weird, so whatever. Yeah, it wasn't me, it was Amber. But yeah, I'm from Dallas. So, hey girl. Malik. There he is, Malik and Jarvis. So yeah, Jesse, Jarvis, Malik. Boom. That's all three of them. That's all three. You're right. It wasn't me you went to school with, but you know me though. You know me. So he came back, he said, I didn't pull up anything. He didn't. Right. I didn't pull up anything, and I was like, I don't know what to tell you. He said, okay, so what's your date of birth? And I was like, February 23rd, 1996. I was born in 97, but I'm like, bro, I just need to throw you off my trail so you get irritated enough and let me go. Not only did he not let me go, and was he not getting irritated, y'all, the man proceeds to come back and was like, so why am I not finding any information with you? Do you have an ID? And I was like, yes. Hey, Miss G, do you know your ID number? I was like, no, sir. You gotta double tap the screen. He was like, okay. So anyways, after some time went by, because he went back to the car clearly trying to figure it out. He ran the plates. Of course, the plates didn't have my name. It had the people that I bought it from name. But I'm in my head, I'm thinking like he could really just call them, or if they got a phone number attached to this license plate number, maybe, you know, ask them and they would give it. So he came back. He was like, I'm going to need you to step out of the car because I can't identify you. So I don't want you to do anything like trying to drive off or none of that. So when I step out the car, I already know for a fact that Jaylee's going to start calling for me. She's like, mommy. So I was like, sir, my daughter's in the back seat. And that's when he flashed the light back there. He was like, where's her car seat? And I was like, sir, I just got the car. I didn't have I didn't get no car seat. I didn't have time to call her dad. None of that. He was just like, okay, I'll give you that. You know, because he didn't give me no child endangerment ticket. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't flying or doing none of that. So I was like, can I just go over there and please stand by my daughter? So he was like, yeah, but open the door. So I opened the door. Jaylee was there. I was like, Jaylee, just sit here. Just sit here. Like, be okay, because she wanted to be in my arms. So after some time, before the time, when I got out the car, y'all, it was like 6 cars behind us. It was 6 police cars pulling me over. Like, what did I do so bad? My headlights wasn't on. I give you that. But what did I do for it to be, like 6 police cars, 8 police cars behind me? So when I was standing over there and he was over there trying to figure out who I was, there was a female officer that came and stood right here, because not only down the street that I was at, y'all, it was completely dark. Hey, Siani. It was completely dark. So if I had took out, if my daughter was not in that car, y'all, I probably would have dashed on. You know, I would have at least tried. So the female officer, she came and stood right there. And this is what I made a mistake in doing, y'all. My phone was in the car. I had connected it to the Bluetooth right before I pulled off. I connected it to the Bluetooth, so it was unlocked and it was sitting there. I seen the officer go into the car and grab my phone. And so the last person he called was my granny. So he called my granny. She was like, he said, we have a young lady pulled over. She said that she had just pulled up, got her baby from you, and this, that, and the third. And my granny was like, Sherelle? And the officer was like, yeah, but we can't seem to find any information. And the officer asked her whatever it was, and hung up the phone. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, my granny didn't even know. Like, I can't even be mad at her, but this dude about to find out who I am. So he went back to the car, y'all, and came back up, and he was like, I see why you didn't want to give me your information. I see why you lied about it. I see, like, he was literally being so sarcastic, y'all, and not just telling me what was going on. Because if it was just a ticket, I would have went to jail and got out the next morning. He was like, ma'am, can you pat her down? And so the lady proceeded to pat me down. Like, she did the pat down, and she was like, what is this? And I had my ID and my social right here in my bra, y'all, and I had told the man I didn't have nothing on me. So of course she went under, she grabbed it, she pulled it down. He was like, oh, so you did have it. You did have it. And I'm like,